G'day, we're going again. The 8-9 tap and go. Hello, mate. How you doing?
How's it, man? I'm not sure what we're called. When I log on to
No,
our
yeah,
studio links, it's got another name.
yep,
And then on my calendar, I think I just put it as three questions.
yep. I think you did. Yeah. No, we've had a new name already. Thanks to Kiwi Hayden in the YouTube comments last week. He killed off Quick Licks barely an hour after it went live. So yeah, it is the 8-9 tap and go now, and this is a new thing midweek. There's a little bit of a hole in between podcasts, so we thought let's fill it. Let's do it really short. We don't have a script. We have three questions. Don't really know where this could go. So fire away, mate. Yours off.
Oh, question number
Yeah.
one. What has surprised you the most so far about this tour? Anything about it?
Um, I'm not surprised that Andy Farrell right now has used 39 players already. Owen Farrell is yet to play. He'll be the 40th. But I am surprised that there has been so much wholesale change. Like there hasn't really been a thread of combination go through that. We're starting to see it, but the team he's named for the Brumbies on Wednesday night is a completely different side to what played the Waratahs on Saturday. So and yes, obviously backing up 3 days later makes that tough. But yeah, like it's wholesale change. He's made change in every starting position, every bench position this game. So that's a little bit of a surprise for me. What
Yeah,
about for
that
you?
is. I'm just watching the Ultimate Test just now, and was seeing Andy talk about how games is the best. The best thing he can do is play in a game. He keeps saying that over and
Yes.
over to his team. And so you figure that he has a lot of game information about his Irish players, and to some extent he's probably fixated a little bit on England at times. So he's probably just getting some game time in there. My surprises were how good James Lowe is good at basketball. Number two, how lovely a town Perth looks. I've never
Yeah.
been there, and it looks much nicer than I imagined for some reason.
Yep.
And then the third thing is was watching some of the scenes around the Lions, and it looked like they had gelled very nicely across all the different camps. So I guess the surprise is, both Owen Farrell coming in, which because there's a very quiet Johnny Sexton. If you watch these scenes,
Yeah.
he's giving the team to Finn, and then now we
I've got
have
to go
that
back links.
angle. Yeah, and I suppose, of course, the Waratahs surprised me apparently.
Yeah. Yeah. That's fair. I mean, I look through the selections, and there's a handful of players that have played 4 games, or the Brumbies will be their 4th game. So Ellis Genge is in that department. Rowan Kelleher's in that department. There's a few others. Tug Furlong is in that department. Mac Hansen, it'll be his 4th game as well. Only one player has played all 5 games, and that's Alex Mitchell.
Hmm.
So
Yeah,
he's
that
been the
happens.
common
So
denominator.
all those positions you listed, except for Mac Hansen, are sort of 50 minutes, 45 minutes type
Yes,
positions.
true.
So they probably have to find some space there. I think Mac Hansen is sort of that utility guy that
Yep.
probably is a little bit short on game time. So they probably think let's get some minutes into him.
Yep.
But I thought the same thing about some of the midfielders. So yeah, it's interesting. You know, it looks like to me this team that they've named, is probably this tails into the Brumbies test a little bit, the Brumbies match a little bit. This is definitely our best clue so far
Yes,
about
it
what
is. It is.
what is what did he think that the team should look like? What should it play like? Whether it's Chester Byrne, whether it's Curry or Josh Van der Fleer, this is the shape that it looks like.
Yes, it feels like that. So then my question is, if the Lions have named what we think is pretty close to the first test, 15, how many changes do the Wallabies have up their sleeve from what we saw in the Fiji test?
Yeah, so I don't think Joe can afford to do wholesale changes anymore. He's
I
got
don't think
to
he's got that many.
he's got to stick, and he's got to pick, and he's got to let that run out. But if you were looking at something, uh, everything involved in the line out so far
Yeah.
is looking pretty bad. So if there was going to be a slide in, I don't know, line out fixer kind of situation, whether it's the hooker, the throw, the lift, the calling, I might look there, and maybe it's on the
Yeah.
bench even, maybe not even the starter.
Yeah. And that's an interesting one. So I've written I've touched on this for my Rugby Pass column this week. Dave Parecki he hasn't played a lot of rugby in 2025, and he's now out of action for the next 12 days with return to play protocols. Matt Fassler's not played a lot of rugby this year for varying different injuries. Billy Pollard has played all year, but has had line-out troubles. I don't know what the ace up the sleeve there is. He's still got Will Skelton, he's still got Rob Valentini, he's still got Jake Gordon to come back into the team. Now, where Skelton comes in has impact on several other positions. So, does Skelton play off the bench for the first test, for example? I don't know, but he certainly doesn't have as many changes up his sleeve as what Andy Farrell has shown week to week. Well, not even week to week, game to game. So, yeah, that will be interesting. That will be interesting. The AUNZ side has been now confirmed. The squad is there. There hasn't been any releasing of Wallaby squad players go back to that team. It's mostly Queenslanders and a few New South Welshmen, a couple of Western Force players now on top of the Kiwis that they've brought in as well. So yeah, there's not really a lot of aces in the hole there, ready to go. Which make of that what you will.
Yeah, and Joe was classic in his comments about downplaying everything and being extremely unhyped. But I'm sure that going into test series with a Northern Hemisphere composite team, the one thing you do know about it is you have to get your set pieces right.
Yes.
The most annoying way to lose to the Northern Hemisphere is when you don't have your set pieces right and you lose that way. If you can get that right and you lose a different way, maybe you can live with it.
Yeah.
But I can tell Joe was unhappy, and probably it's interesting what percentage of time he spends on what. That's always a great tell during this week. Like how many times are we drilling this or that? Are we kick chasing? Are we setting up something? There's plenty there. It's interesting to me that whole weekend on the teams that try to play a lot of rugby were kind of punished by the gods of rugby. So
yes. And I saw a great reaction online somewhere on the social somewhere as well, saying that the reaction to the Wallabies nearly being beaten by Fiji is almost disrespectful to Fiji. Like the Wallabies are 8, Fiji is 9 in the world rankings, and the comment was, it's not like they nearly lost the game to Sri Lanka. Like Fiji are actually a decent team, so that's a decent one as well. You got the last one?
Oh yeah. So if we did a little game like we did earlier in the season about stealing players, if the Wallabies could take one line away from them, and if the Lions could take one Wallaby away from the Wallabies, what do you think?
I think it's an easy one. I think Joe Schmidt would take Finn Russell in a heartbeat. And because 10 has been a state of flux for Australia. Just this year, it's been in a state of flux all season. Noel Lolasio's carted off on a stretcher on Sunday afternoon. So if he could slot Finn Russell in and just let him play, I think he would sleep a touch easier.
That's interesting. I mean, it's a good choice. But since I have ultimate confidence in the Waratahs, Tain Edmed, there was an apostrophe there. I would go with Dan Sheehan, who would
that's
help
a
me
good
in my
call
line
too.
out and just be a monster in the front row. Where I think maybe I think the Wallabies are missing a real out and out. I always think of Aussies as having great hookers, just kind of storming characters. It's kind of it's a lull right now for hookers.
That's fair. Who do you think it is the other way?
Ooh, I think the Lions might like a player like Rob Valentini. That is just a gain line, like check mark, tick the box. We got over the gain line. Right now, they seem to be, anytime they're missing that, they're not playing very well. But probably if I have to settle on someone, it would probably be in the depth department. So I'd kind of go and get someone for the bench, and I'd pick someone like Joseph Akusu Suali'i. And say, let me just throw out something there. I'll have Pollock on the field, Joseph on the field. It'll just be madness.
Anything could happen. That's not a bad shout. I was leaning towards Valentini, but then I actually wondered whether someone like Fraser McRae might be the call. But then there would be a lot of similarity between Fraser McWright,
Josh,
and
Tom,
Josh
Jack.
Vanderfleer,
Yeah.
Jack Morgan. Yeah. So,
It does feel like in that vein, though, it does feel like that's where the first test, whether you won or
yes.
lost, is in the final 30 minutes. Who is that manning that
Yeah.
spot? It's not even the starting, but who is it final half hour? Who is getting over the ball? Who's making those decisions? Who's getting pinged by the ref and not? Yeah.
Yeah, true. Yeah, it's fair. It's fair. Interesting questions, mate. Interesting questions. There's a bit going on. I'm heading off to a lunch. You've just caught me, hence me
Nice.
looking $1,000,000. So
You're going to the Brumbies brunch?
I am going to the Brumbies Legends lunch very soon, in fact. So yes, should be a good day. Big room.
Which legend are you most chuffed to see?
Oh, geez, good question.
You'll see Joe Roth, right?
I don't know.
Joe Roth's quite the guy.
Joe Roth will be there. Yeah, I'll be probably having a chat with Joe Roth. Yeah,
nice, good man.
I reckon. Good-o. This has been good. This has been good. Tell us what you think in the comments. Tell us who you think either coach would steal from the other team. There's some interesting selections there. So tell us what you think. Have your say, and we'll be back later in the week with our next guest.
Cheers.
See ya.